Hello, STEAM Academy. My name is Wesley McCool, and I'm a technical sergeant in the United States Air Force. Veterans Day is a time to recognize military veterans who have served honorably in the United States Armed Forces. The government often asks military members to do difficult things in some pretty dangerous places to help other people and preserve the freedoms we enjoy as Americans. To me, this is why it is important to honor our military veterans as they answered their country's call to service, which is not always an easy thing to do. I challenge you to thank a veteran today and ask him or her to share a favorite memory from when he or she was in the military. Veterans often have some cool stories to tell, but don't feel bad if some of them have a little bit of difficulty doing so. Be compassionate and understanding, and they will appreciate it. Thank you for your continued support, and I wish you all the best.
Carlos Garza Jr., U.S. Marines, 5 years, Sergeant. I would say my most memorable moment in the military would be having to take showers with water bottles. My advice to kids right now is stay in school, study hard, and bye.
Hello, my name is Juanita Rojas. I am a U.S. Army veteran. I was in the reserves from 2000 to 2004. I was supposed to be deployed to Afghanistan right as 9/11 occurred. To my dismay, I did come across some unfortunate circumstances that prohibited me from going to fulfill my full duty. But I still consider myself a very worthy and noble soldier, because I trained a lot of young women and men that went out there and served their country. And for that, I am forever proud and of them and myself for doing the things that we did. One of the memorable things that comes to mind is when we were going to get deployed to Afghanistan, a lot of those soldiers crying on my shoulder, telling me they wanted to go home to their moms and dads. So we need to remember these young men and women that fought for our country. And my advice to you children is to always follow your dreams, follow your hearts. The Army was my dream. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to fulfill it, but just know that anything is possible. Just set your mind, your heart to it, and you can accomplish anything you want.
Hello, my name is Sergeant Santana. I'm currently doing 6 years of active duty. I'm in the U.S. Army. My current position is a squad team. My position right now is currently fire team leader. Prior duties are special reconnaissance team leader, 240 gunner, assistant gunner, grenadier, rifleman. I would say one of the most memorable things is I've been to a lot of different duty stations. I've done a lot of different tours. I've been overseas, and just the brotherhood is absolutely something that cannot be replaced. I'm able to call them once a day, twice a day. I can bug them as much as I want. It starts out a little rough, but pretty soon you grow into real brotherhood and you're able to rely on one another for absolutely anything. In my opinion, Veterans Day is like a day to really appreciate those who have actually taken the time to go and serve their country. It's not something that people are obligated to do. It's something they voluntarily do, so that we're able to go ahead and enjoy certain amenities that others aren't able to. If I can give advice to my younger self, honestly, I would go back and tell them to go and hit school a lot harder. I really didn't pay attention much. Didn't realize math would actually come into factor with my job, especially with what I do now. But it really plays a large portion of what I need to know. So studying school, like the basic knowledge of everything that you need to know, really does play into life. Yeah, happy Veterans Day, and thank you all for your support.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ramirez here. I'm a science teacher at Dr. Garza STEAM Academy. I am an honorably discharged veteran from the U.S. Air Force. I served in 80s and early 90s, mid 90s. I went through boot camp at San Antonio, and then I spent some time in Mississippi, Biloxi. I was stationed in Scott Air Force Base in Illinois, which was about 20 minutes across the river from St. Louis, Missouri. It was an awesome place to live, where I'd be right now if people would let me. But as far as overseas, I was only in 7 years, so I didn't get to travel too much. But I did spend 6 months in Honduras, because supposedly I know enough Spanish. So anyway, after I got discharged, or I chose to be discharged, I decided to become a teacher. And I've been teaching for 24 years. As far as the military, I strongly encourage it. I tried to push my own children to join the military, and one of them did. Only because it builds character. It's one way to give back to a country that's provided pretty much everything for us. Okay, so please remember, when you salute the flag or when you say the pledge, it's more than a flag. Okay, it's people behind that flag, people that have died. So my friends that have passed away while serving their country. Okay, and it's sad, but I mean, somebody has to fight, to maintain our freedoms, our way of life, which in a way, some countries say that we're spoiled. Maybe we are, maybe we're not. But I think we've earned it, but it's been at the expense of others. Others have paid the price. So let's remember that this Veterans Day. And if you see a veteran other than myself, go up, well, you can't really hug them anymore, but I don't know, give them a fist bump, or just tell them hi, or them or her, and maybe someday you will join the ranks of the veterans. Happy Veterans Day. Yeah, probably one of my most memorable experiences in the military is probably when I was stationed in Honduras for 6 months. I was up in the mountains. First time I ever been in the mountains since I was a small child. First time in South America, or I guess Central America. I was there in summer, but it was beautiful, it was cool. It was nice to go jogging outside, and there was no dog chasing you. Nobody was beeping the horn because there was very little traffic. And I really enjoyed the smells in the morning of people cooking with leña. Leña is like wood that they cut, and they use that to cook their meals, which they would sell on the side of the road. Very good prices and very nutritious meals, probably better than Burger King or McDonald's. So that I miss. I do miss it still. I still remember. So once in a while, even though it's been like over 25 years later, whenever I smell a fireplace or wood burning, I'm brought back to Honduras. I remember, those smells, and it was very eye-opening to see the people, how they lived, and how happy and content they are with their life. And just, I guess, my advice is that wherever you wind up at, that you find happiness, and you are happy with your life.
Hello, everybody. My name is Benito Gonzalez. I'm a captain in the U.S. Army. I've been in the Army for 19 years, and I'm from Los Fresnos, Texas. So throughout my service, I've deployed 2 times to Afghanistan, 2 times to Iraq. I've also served overseas in Egypt, and my most recent assignment was Korea, in which I was there with my family for 25 months. And I now find myself stationed in Fort Hood, Texas, and I live here in Gatesville, which is not far from the Valley. Okay, so for my most memorable moment in the Army, I wouldn't say it's a one specific time period. It was on multiple occasions. When I was stationed in Egypt, I would conduct what's called a resupply, utilizing a helicopter to a remote location where there was some ground troops observing the borders between Jordan, Egypt, and the Red Sea. So during this task, we would go out and drop loads up to 5,000 pounds utilizing a rope and a hook. And we would basically have to hover on a 900-foot cliff with winds upwards of 45 knots and trying to drop this specific load in one specific location was very difficult. But not only was it the task that's memorable to me, but the view in that area of the world is very pretty. And I'd definitely recommend anybody to visit that area of the world. And the city there is called Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, if you ever get an opportunity. All right, so Veterans Day, what it is to me in my own words. So other than the fact that it was a holiday produced after World War I would say it's a good opportunity to recognize soldiers that have served overseas or during combat. And in today's age, we've actually been in a global war on terrorism since 2001, since actually 9/11. So every single soldier who has served since then should fit the bill if anybody is doubtful. And it's definitely a good opportunity for small towns and cities to recognize their hometown heroes. So some advice I'd like to give kids nowadays is for one, if you're considering joining the military, thank you so much for that, because it takes a lot for somebody to be willing to sacrifice their life on the behalf of others and our country. And good for your parents for raising a child that's willing to do that. Two, the military is not for everybody, but there are challenges that are worth overcoming, and it is a very rewarding career in the case that you do decide to join the military. There's a lot of educational opportunities, and ultimately just remember that the decisions that you're making now will have an effect while you join, in the case that you were to join the military. So just keep that in mind as you're going through school. Keep trying your best. Keep showing up. And I'd like to take this opportunity also to say hi to my son, Sean. I miss you. Can't wait to see you in a couple weeks. And I love you.
Hello guys, my name is Manuel Vargas. I served in the United States Marine Corps, hoorah, from 2010 to 2015. I got out at the rank of a sergeant. My experience in the Marine Corps was a phenomenal one. I got to travel the world, got to do a lot of cool stuff, and learned a lot of cool stuff. Post Marine Corps, I took advantage of the educational benefits for veterans and became a pilot. I fly helicopters and planes. I'm a commercial airplane pilot, as well as a flight instructor. This was all due to the benefits of me being in the military. There's no way I would be able to afford any of this education without this. So there's young people out there thinking about joining the military, any armed forces. I would definitely say educate yourself, as where there is a lot of benefits. I understand it's not for everybody, but I would definitely educate myself and be that 1% of America. Semper Fi.
Hello, my name is Ernesto Villafranca. I was in the U.S. Army from 1988 to 1991. I was a communications center operator. What that was, I received and sent out messages for the units in the base that I was in. It was similar to office work. The only interesting part was that some of the messages were top secret. So I did have a top secret clearance. So that was a little bit interesting that some of those messages were classified. One of the things that I like to talk about is that when I joined the Army, I had no experience with rifles. So that's one thing that you do in the Army. They give you a rifle and you have to shoot it. So you have to first zero your rifle, and that is you have to shoot 3 rounds into a target, and then basically adjust those wherever you hit to the center of that target. So I had trouble shooting those 3 rounds in the same area. So with some just taking time to breathe and calm myself down, I was able to do that, where I was able to shoot those rounds in the same area, and then I was able to zero my rifle and actually hit the center of the target finally. So again, patience sometimes and being calm pays off. Well, I think the military, what they do to you in the military, they kind of drill things to you about how to do things. It kind of makes you be your work ethic. They kind of put that into you. So yeah, I would say for anybody, that's, I think, whatever you do out there, whether it's in the military or in school, keep at it. Focus on what you're doing, and hard work typically will pay off for you, whether it's in the military where I was or in school. I think that's the one thing that I got out of the military, just that hard work is one way of doing things.
Hello, my name is Terrence Grant. I was an E4 in the U.S. Air Force and I served for 6 years. I'm a veteran.